All right, let's get going with this. Very excited for the Hug session that we have set up today. As you can see, we are joined by two beautiful people from the HubSpot reporting team. A bit of a scoop, if I may say so myself, that we've got two clever product managers here. So we are about to be hit by some interesting reporting functionality and a little bit of a sneak peek of what you can expect from the interesting changes that always happen around the inbound conference, which is due next week. So there's, as you may have all noticed, there's already a lot of stuff happening in the portal. I saw multiple things rolling out just today. So there's a bit of under the covers stuff already happening, but as we all know, big things to happen next week, and we're about to get a little bit of sneak peek into what that might be. So without further ado, I will just hand the reins over to Mark, and in the meantime, encourage you all to please ask questions in the chat functionality, and then we'll make sure to pick up on those questions after the presentations by Mark and Stephanie, and utilize that we have two people here who have a deeper insight into HubSpot reporting than even some of our very clever HubSpot specialists have. So let's make sure to get some good questions rolling and get some of the insights that we have a unique option to get here today.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the introduction. Great to meet everybody. My name is Mark. I'm a product manager for reporting and insights at HubSpot, focusing on the Service Hub and Help Desk experience. And I'll kick us off today, and then I'll hand over to Stephanie, who will introduce herself as well. Cool. Let me start by sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen here? Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, I'll get started. Please interrupt me if somebody can't hear me or can't see me or can't see my slides. Keep me posted. All right, I'll start us off with just talking a little bit about how I see the changing landscape of reporting evolving. And yeah, kick us off there to give you a bit of context on the different demos I want to do today. So essentially, I want to start by looking at the past. I think the past of reporting and insights was a lot of manual data analysis. So users had to review individual data points in workspaces such as the help desk or in the sales hub or in other places, looking at individual data points and then aggregating those data points in amazing reporting tools that Stephanie will showcase later on. So that was a lot of manual data analysis that had to be done. Now, this manual data analysis typically looks like this in a data journey, if you will. You first have to understand what data to consult. You then have to build a report with that data. You then have to deduct an insight from that report and then take an action on that insight. So these are a lot of steps to take just to get an insight. And of course, this process currently takes a lot of time, and users do not always identify an actionable insight from this process. So essentially, what we want to work towards, kind of a future that we are envisioning, that we want to work towards, that I want to show you a little bit about today, is this point where we want to bring users straight to an actionable insight. So essentially, we would want to have all the steps 1 to 3 happening in the background and bring you straight to an actionable insight. Some of this we will see today, and some of this is kind of future thinking as well. All right, so I think there are 3 main pillars I want to talk about today in terms of how the future will look like. The first one is bespoke data experiences for specific tasks. So each data experience should serve a specific purpose, and I'll show you a few examples of these purpose-driven data experiences. Out-of-the-box experiences provide a starting point, and Stephanie also has some great updates on that, on how we can use out-of-the-box and use that as a starting point. That's the first pillar. So specific task for specific purposes. Second pillar is consuming data in new ways. I'll give you one example and a bit of a sneak peek on where that's going, but we believe that we want to focus on the insight to be gained from the data rather than looking at all the different fancy data points and reports you can look at. We want to focus on that insight. So reducing the time to insight is core to this specific pillar. And then last but not least, more data-driven decisions. So essentially making more data points available, but also using AI to make data enrichment less manual. So that's another one that I'm going to talk about later. And I have a bit of a kind of forward-looking question that I want to ask you all, and that we can start debating on as well. All right, so let's hop right into a quick little demo. So I'm going to start here at the Help Desk Summary tab. You can find that on the left-hand side, Service Help Desk, and then here you can just click Summary. So this is one of the first experiences I want to show for this purposeful data experience. The job to be done, or the task that somebody wants to do on this page, is monitor operational health of a support team. So that's the purpose of this experience. Not like a bunch of different reports, but like bespoke experiences for this specific purpose. To give you some examples here of how that would look like. So you can see that you have this high-level data wall on the top. We can look at all the open tickets. You can see how it compared to yesterday. So you can see in this portal, we actually reduced the number of open tickets in comparison to the same time yesterday, which is great news. And then, of course, this portal doesn't have a ton of data, but you will then be able to see how many tickets were closed today, what's the time to first reply average today, time to close, and the feedback scores of today. The exciting things for users of this space as well is to be capable of actually getting this high-level view and then choosing what they want to tap deeper into. So, for example, if I tap this number, it will open up the help desk, filter the tickets automatically exactly to the filters that we have applied in the background on that page. And you can then look into these tasks, look at these specific tickets, and learn more about these if you want to dig deeper as a manager. Close the tab, you're back on the Summary tab, understanding high level what's going on and monitoring the operational health of your team. So that's what this kind of tab's all about. This is following up on this specific task. I'll go through a few other cards here that give you these bespoke data experiences. So when you're a manager looking at your support team, you want to understand how many users are available and how many tickets are assigned to them. So for example, you might want to understand how many users are away and actually still have tickets assigned to them. They're not there right now, but maybe that means you as a manager of a support team need to reassign these tickets. Again, you can look into this ticket, see what this is all about, dig deeper into it, reassign or let it sit there and hop back to the Summary tab. SLA progress gives you a high-level overview of like how your SLAs are doing, how kind of the time to close is on target for today. And then all these other cards are also focused and filtered down by just today. Number of tickets by channel, how that has developed, comparison to the same time yesterday, calling performance, message analytics, also brand new, which just gives you like things like peak hours for outgoing or incoming messages. And then of course, tickets by priority. So this is the first bespoke data experience that I was talking about in this first pillar. The next one I want to talk about is the Help Desk Coaching tab. So essentially similar here, you can go to Help Desk and then coaching. And essentially, as it says here, essentially this job that you want to do or the task you want to do on this page is coach your team. So as a manager, you will have access to all the data across all the teams. By default, as a support rep, you will only be able to see data from your own tickets. So you are not allowed to access everybody else's tickets. That's a permission set that, you know, as a manager, you can choose which support reps are allowed to see this and which ones aren't. But out of the box, this comes like this. So as a manager, I can now look and compare performance. I can filter down to a specific rep. The entire tab will focus and filter down on this and gives you, again, this high-level data wall. Now, the exciting thing as well is here that there's a few new data points in here that you can access. We have SLA adherence on the left-hand side here and number of one-touch tickets, which means how many tickets were closed after just one touch. Now, once again, the idea here is that you want to coach this reps. You want to understand what is a metric I want to dive deeper into. So right now, I see that 20% SLA adherence isn't a great stat. So I will click into it. It'll jump back down to this section, which is going to dig deeper into tickets closed and SLAs. In the first report, you'll just see the overall progress of this rep. If you don't filter this down to the rep, it will show for all the different users. And then you can learn more about understanding the performance drivers of this. So this rep has a 26% SLA adherence, and you can now see, okay, which tickets were completed late on which days. So you can dig deeper into that, understand more of what you want to talk to about this rep, about their tickets that were completed late. You can also look at their average time to close over time and look at what days they closed the ticket and what the average kind of time to close was there, understanding like outliers and seeing and digging deeper into specifics here. So again, a bespoke data experience for your specific use case of coaching the reps. So that's kind of the first pillar. The second pillar that I mentioned is new ways to consume data. I want to talk to you about this specific card here. And you might have seen this in other spaces like the Sales Hub. So this is a new way for you to digest data. You have, rather than looking at a bunch of different reports to come up with this insight, we will provide this insight right to your doorstep, so to speak. So you can directly see what's going on. You can scroll through the most important things that are happening in your account right now, and you can act on these learnings right away. So just a new way to consume data, and we'll tap more into that. You will hear more about that as well at Inbound. All right, so next I want to talk a little bit about new data points that we've made available to you that will kind of really enable you to answer more questions for your support teams. First one I want to talk about is the ticket average time to close in SLA hours. So if you're a support organization that doesn't cover and provide support 24/7, 7 days a week, which is quite normal. You have normal operating and business hours. Then you would likely have set up SLA hours, meaning these are the hours that you operate in. Now, this new calculation can now take into consideration these SLA hours. So you can now it removes, for example, the weekends from the time to close calculation. Same thing we have enabled for time to first reply. So exciting new data point here. Another one I want to point out is customer wait time. Customer wait time is really important as well for this full circle moment of customer success. As a customer success manager, I want to understand which customers have been waiting a long time for their feedback on support tickets. And this will enable a customer success manager to proactively understand that this specific customer actually has a very long wait time and can proactively see whether they have raised a lot of complex issues or support teams weren't too focused on these specific customers. All right, 3 more to go. I want to talk about ticket reply count. So this is a measure of like how expensive, quote unquote, a ticket was for you. So you can now track that this ticket actually needed 112 messages to be solved. So really interesting one to see, dig into, understand why it took so much time and so many messages to solve. This is an important differentiation between time to close and number of messages sent. Sometimes they correlate. So, high time to close is a large number of messages sent, but sometimes they don't. So this is an important additional data point. All right. I talked to you about peak message times. The flip side of that is maximum available reps by time of day. Because now you can look at the number of reps available at a given time of your day, helping you to understand and overlap peak message hours of incoming messages and maximum available reps. They should be more or less in sync so you can handle all the tickets and messages coming in. All right, before I hop into the last report, I want to give a quick show of hands or in the chat just to see how many of you have worked with a customer agent. Seeing whether we can get some traction here. Customer agent, anybody? Has anybody worked with them? There we go, customer agent, there we go. We have some excitement. Okay, what's the customer agent? The customer agent is a way for you to have AI take the most basic right now potentially, but also over time, the more advanced support questions. So your reps can really focus on the complex use cases and the high quality customers. So this specific report is cool in 2 ways. 1, it looks really cool, but 2, it's really exciting because it gives you an insight into how good your customer agent really is. So in the last 90 days in this portal, 6 were handled by a customer agent. You can now see out of these 6 tickets, 5 were handled by the customer agent themselves without any human interaction. And only 1 had to be handed over, this one here, had to be handed over to a human before it got closed. So really important here to dig into understanding how the customer agent, but also bots, actually how good they are in solving tickets by themselves. All right, enough demo, enough reports. I want to finish off by with 2 more kind of one statement, one question. So first one, I mentioned AI enrichment. You can see that this screen, the help desk, is already enriched with a bunch of AI. So the ticket category is enriched with AI, automatically set by it. You have the ticket summary, you have the ticket title, and you also have reply recommendations in your tickets here. So this is just the beginning, but you can already see that this is all going to be enriched a lot more. And if you look 6-12 months in the past, a lot of this was quite empty, and the user would have to understand first, read through the whole bunch of text to understand what's going on. But now this is going to be more enriched. All right, I'm going to leave you with an idea. My question is, I would love to discuss with you all, reach out on LinkedIn, maybe we have time today, is will AI agents take over manual analysis? So this is a concept, and the idea here is that we already have single and cross data point insights. I showed you these right here. We can provide you these insights right now. Now, what if we were able to provide suggestions? So AI creates suggestions based on these specific insights. We then could surface proof of these insights or suggestions by giving you specific links to check this out, by creating specific graphs for you. And then once you are a user is excited and likes this idea, likes the insight and the suggestion, they can then take an explicit action based on that. So once again, we then provide, bring you straight to the insight and enable you to take an action really, really quickly. And to take that one step further, there might be some of these actions that could be something in the far future, I don't know how far, could be autonomously taken by an agent. So I always give the example in support of number of reps available per channel. So this is something that a manager hops into several times a day, needs to rearrange how many reps are available in each channel because some channel has some delays and not that many reps available. Now, this is something that potentially this agent could suggest changes to reps by channel. And once you get confident with that quality of the agent that gives you really good ideas and suggestions on how many reps should be in what channel, you can then ask the rep to take action autonomously. Again, just a concept, just an idea, but I'd love to start the conversation later after Stephanie's talk, but I'll also reach out on LinkedIn if you like to. I'm very curious to see if this is a future that would kind of look promising and would be interesting. With that, I'm going to hand over to Stephanie. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, I'll look through the chat as well for any questions and thoughts. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Mark. It was a really great walkthrough of the help desk and Service Hub reports. I do not have a slide deck. I'm going to do mine more of an in the app, what's available today, what's in beta. So more of a quick hits list of all the cool things that the team has been working on and is now available in your portal. So let me get started. Share my screen. Amazing. Okay, so kicking off of the Service Hub reports, I want to show you where you can find the reports that Mark was sharing and a whole lot more in our brand new redesigned analytics suite. So this is where you'll find all your classic reports like traffic analytics, sources, completed activities, all with same reports still available in here, just with a little bit of a new packaging. So what we've heard from a lot of our admins is that you all don't necessarily live within a single hub. You're not necessarily part of marketing, sales, service, commerce. You kind of sit within all of those. So I wanted to make this experience a little bit more targeted to you. And by doing that, we've removed the navigation bar on the left-hand side that had those core pieces. They're not gone, we just moved them to the top, but we wanted to also highlight the use cases that we're trying to drive within our reporting. So for service, we have scale support, drive retention, customer satisfaction. If we move over to something like marketing, we have lead generation, web traffic analysis, channel performance. But the most exciting part of this page is our new Discover section. And this is completely customized to you based on your activity throughout HubSpot. So in this case, I'm in a portal where there's a high focus on sales. So there's a lot of activity going on within sales. And therefore, the reports that I'm being recommended are around weighted forecast category and quota attainment. We also know that there are some tried and true favorites across the analytics suite, so we wanted to make sure that those were still easily accessible. So we've got our completed activities and traffic by source as our top two, but all of these are scrollable. We've got 5 pages on the most popular report section. Something that I'm sure is not new to you all, but we push out updates all the time, and there's always new reports coming in. So we wanted to make sure that we also had a way of bringing attention to those reports a little bit closer to you. So we have new reports, and these are going to be like net new ones that are brand new, or ones that have gone through recent updates. So either there's new data available in them, or we've added new filters and new customization capabilities. So those are all available now on your Discover tab within the Marketing Analytics suite. This is still very much in a beta. It's currently a private beta. I'm going to make sure that Emil has the links to all of these so that we can share them around for you all later. So there is going to be a couple of new UX improvements to the page, but definitely curious to hear your thoughts on this more like use case driven like navigation, as well as like this discover, the idea of like a discover for you area within HubSpot. So once you've gone through and you found all the reports that you love, you've configured them, you've saved them, the most annoying part about building out reporting in HubSpot is our dashboard functionality. Would you be surprised if I told you it was a 14-step process to add a new report to a dashboard from the reports list page, unless you'd use like your quick action? It's insane. We have heard that it takes so much time to set up a dashboard, and we want to make that a little bit easier. So one of the new betas that's available as part of our inbound deliverables is this new add reports panel, making it easy to drag and drop your report directly onto your existing dashboard. A couple of cool features in here, other than being able to drag and drop, you can also get a little preview of the content that's available. Because if you're anything like me, all of your reports have either the same or very similar name. So we wanted to make it easy to, at a quick glance, get a sense of like what you're looking at and make sure that it's relevant for the page. And we wanted to make sure that those analytics suite reports are not too far behind this. So if you're building out a brand new dashboard and you don't have any reports, or you're setting up something for a new user, we have the ready-made reports, which are pulling from our entire template library right next to it there. Amazing. I see a lot of chatter in the chat of loving the excitement for these features. Out of all the stuff that my team has worked on, this is secretly my top favorite for making building dashboards fast and easy. But something else that we've heard from admins is that you do not want your ICs coming in here and messing around, and we heard you on that loud and clear. So we've made it really easy to embed dashboards directly in places like your sales workspace. So this went live a couple of months ago, but we've made a big update, which is currently in private beta, where you're now able to add multiple dashboards and filter them specifically to certain teams. So here I'm in the sales workspace. I'm in here. I have my dashboard that I've previously set up. But if I'm an admin, I can come in and click that settings UI. It'll take me to the dashboards tab, and I can now add multiple dashboards in this experience. So let me do that. And let's say that this sales team performance is only relevant to my team chef. This is a test portal, so some silly names in here. But say it's in team chef, I'm going to say confirm that anyone in that team can access it. I'm going to add it to the dashboard, to the workspace. From here, I can go back to here. And now in my dropdown, if I am part of that team, or if I have access to that report, I'm going to see it available within my dropdown here. Another cool feature with this embedded dashboards experience is that we're pre-filtering for your ICs. So if I'm here as currently myself, this dashboard is going to be pre-filtered using the dynamic owner equals to be me. So owner equals me, owner equals you, owner equals whoever is visiting this experience. So we're trying to make it easier for admins like yourselves to configure, create, and manage all of your reporting out in reporting, but allow you as admins to bring the most impactful information for your ICs to take action. So similarly to what Mark was talking about in his presentation, we know that we want users to take action, whether that's through AI insights or through like the reports that you've configured. And we want to make it easier to reduce the noise for those ICs so that they can focus on taking that action. So bringing reporting where they work in their workflows. I know we have a little bit of extra time left. I have a super, super top secret, very early beta, in fact, not even in a user's hands concept that we're testing. And I'm curious if anyone here would like to see that sneak peek. See some action in the chat, please. I see spill the tea. Yes, I see some eyeballs. Okay, so similarly to what we're working on with the sales workspace by bringing new dashboards and custom dashboards in here, we also know that analyze tabs exist across the platform, literally everywhere. Every app has an analyze tab for the most part, and we also know that they're very static. Can't do a whole lot with them. You can do some filters, but we all know that you've built your best dashboards in your spaces, and we want to make sure that you can bring those here too. So we've made a version of the embedded dashboards experience available in here, where you can, again, bring your favorite dashboard, assign it to a team, and replace the HubSpot default dashboard with your own custom content. So this is brand new. If you're interested in testing this out with me, shoot me a message either on LinkedIn or I'll send a meeting link to Emil after this so that you can all book in with me. But we're looking for customers to test this with. We're currently testing it with the website pages and landing pages analyze tab, but there's definitely more to come. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts and would love to get a couple of people in here testing with it live. Amazing. That is what I wanted to showcase for you all today. Curious if there's any questions about anything that I highlighted or if there's anything you want me to go back to. I'm happy to take questions live.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Some interesting and highly valuable additions indeed. I definitely see a few of them saving us at least multiple hours every week, and I'm sure many others will enjoy that. It will be now significantly easier, not just working with reporting, but also finding the insights that you're actually looking for. But some good quality of life additions here, at least that come to mind. Maybe to get the ball rolling, I at least had the question. I see you already put an answer in writing, Mark, but that what we always look for is, so you've now highlighted a few new reports and a few new methods of reporting, but to take it one step further up in abstraction, what are the things that you see users not doing that you, despite all the bells and whistles that are now added to the system, are sorry about? Sometimes this can be the very basics, right? That we can't see the forest for all the trees, or sometimes it's some of the new, maybe more fancy additions just not being utilized yet. I, at least as one example, had that it struck a nerve when you mentioned the analyze tabs. Definitely, I've seen that time and time again, that we get requests to build custom reports, which are essentially already available right there at your fingertips. You want to report on email health. Well, when you know it, there's actually a tab that gives you exactly the report you're looking for, and they're even available right there when you're considering emails. Now you've got the analysis of those emails. So really an underutilized feature in my opinion. But I don't know if you have any experiences there as well with something that you see often being missed or misused.
Super interesting question. I can go first. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, Stephanie. I think my first instinct is to find the balance between, like similar to the scenario you mentioned, find the balance between like getting excited about a new data point that you want to use and actually strategically thinking about what to measure and why, right? Like last year at Inbound, I did a talk, I can send over the deck, which talks about setting up a specific like target that you want to achieve, like a specific purpose of why you want to do your reporting for what goal, and then kind of think about the KPIs you want to set up for that purpose, and start tracking these KPIs, see how they're doing for a couple of months, and then circle back to whether these are the right KPIs to think about. So I think that's, for me, the biggest thing that I've been seeing is like customers get very excited about a lot of new data points. They create a new report, which is amazing, but then they don't use it again because there's no like higher level strategic purpose behind using them. So like that strategic setup of like why you want to do something, and what's the purpose. I think that's one that I find very interesting to consider. And for what it's worth, that's what we're trying to do with this whole concept of like actionable insights, to not have you have to think about all these individual data points, but actually give you just what you want right at your fingertip. But that's kind of that came to mind for me. What's your thoughts, Stephanie? Do you have any ideas?
I think a similar take, but something that I think gets missed is the ability to customize a lot of these starting points. So, like, we have all these starting points across HubSpot. Many of them you can pull into a builder. You can swap out our standard properties with your custom ones. There's a lot of flexibility now, especially within the SRV. So, even if you're looking for a one-off report, you can come in there and pretty much make it your own. But we have don't quote me on this number, but I think it's something like 200 templates of starting points across HubSpot for reporting. We have a really great set of getting started options. What gets missed is making it your own before starting from scratch, because nothing's worse than just jumping into a blank slate on the builder, going like, which object do I need to look at? Is it like, where's this property? How do I use this? So we try to make that a little bit easier with those templates, but yeah, don't over like there's a lot of good value in there. Sometimes you just have to like swap out a property.
Definitely second that one. And if there's not a standard report for it, then there's an AI report builder that can at least get the ball rolling sometimes. So I find it more and more rare these days that we just start from that completely daunting blank canvas. There's an interesting question here, and I don't know how much you are at liberty to to say here, but if you can shed some light on the timing of some of these rollouts.
Was there a specific rollout that was pulling interest? Because I can go through the list, but I'm happy if there's a specific one.
It looks like it's just in general. Don't know if you were thinking of any particular ones there. In general.
Just in general.
Okay, yeah.
Analytics suite reporting. Okay. So the analytics suite, it's in a private beta right now. We do have a couple more iterations for the design and what we're hoping to achieve there. So we're looking at moving it into a public beta probably in early October is the goal. For the add to dashboard panel, that drag and drop, that's going into public beta for Inbound. So you should have that like available to you very, very soon. And same with the editable or the multiple dashboards in the sales workspace. So that's in a public beta right now. The only one that is not available to anyone, you can't get access through it through a product update, is that editable analyze tab experience. But if you want access, just shoot me a message. Happy to get on a call and unbox that experience for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Not seeing any additional questions here. I'm always curious to hear. So there's a lot of exciting new additions to the reporting setup. What are some of the things, and I know that there are, again, limitations to what you may be able to share here, but what are some of the things that maybe didn't make the cut, or things that you're looking to in the horizon? How's reporting in HubSpot looking when we get to Q1 2026?
Mark, can I start? Yes, okay, awesome. So my team is actually going through a bit of a shift. We're specifically building for admins starting in Q4. So what that looks like in Q1 of next year is like a true management space for reporting. So right now we have like disconnected experiences where you kind of have to go all over the place to manage your data. We want to make it easy and fast so that you can do that within one space. So you can focus on reporting, asset management, tagging, organization, and distribution of your content to those spaces across HubSpot without having to find where those spaces need to live. You can do it all from one central location. And we're hoping to have either made significant progress towards that, or you should see some new organization features coming up into Q1.
From my side, why I can already give a bit of a sneak peek is the big thing that we are focusing on starting Q3 and Q4 is the concept of coaching. So right now you can see of all these data points, you can filter reports, of course, by rep, but there's like more levels of coaching. And two examples of that is, one is, how do you currently coach reps on all the tickets they solve every week, right? Let's say a rep solves like 50 tickets each week. How could a manager like coach them on these individual tickets? It's about qualitative data analysis and providing users a chance to coach reps on actual ticket data. And then the other thing is there a way that we can build an agent that helps the manager prep one-on-one conversations with their reps? So these are like two ideas that we're playing with that hopefully can make it into the next year and bring it to the spring spotlight next year.
Nice. We'll be looking out for that in the spotlight then. Very, very nice insight. If there are no additional last minute questions, I want to thank you both, Mark and Stephanie, for taking the time. We're very grateful for that. Very interesting insights, and really looking forward to seeing these new additions come into our portals. And in the meantime, we might be on the lookout for a couple of private beta accesses on our own and our Hub participants' behalf. We'll make sure to share the ones that we can share, and then we'll of course also share recordings and decks as usual. Yes, thank you very much, and have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. Great meeting, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for having us.